Uh-huh. We're recording. Amateur hour. Okay. You're a newbie, but we all know you're a newbie. So, Chris is our newbie. If we can all just go around tell our names so that I'm Stacy.
I'm Kevin. I'm Mary.
Sherry. Jamie. Emily.
Andrew.
Okay.
That's cool.
And Leslie's not here with us tonight because she's at women's retreat thingy-mabobber up there in Perrysburg.
Yeah.
So I guess camping in the rain, maybe? I don't know. I hope it's indoors. So, Ken, you want to open with your Bible verse and your thought of the day?
Yes. The reading comes from Proverbs chapter 25, verse 27. It is not good to eat too much honey, nor is it honorable to search out matters that are too deep. My words, even the Old Testament instructed us to go easy on sugar. In general, there are healthy boundaries to eating too. God knew I would be tempted over the indulging of eating sweets. God is not trying to steal joy from us with rigid rules. God just knows what it is best for us and wants us to give gentle reminders to stay on that path. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Today's topic we're going to cover is cholesterol. I'm sure anybody who's read anything on keto knows there's a big debate on cholesterol readings because of the way labs are now being interpreted versus the old way that didn't really give a lot of good information. You want to put up Dr. Barry? Yeah? Hit the play button. Turn him on.
Hey, this is Dr. Barry. In this short video, I'm going to talk to you about something that scares a lot of people, and that's high cholesterol levels. I've had any number of messages from people saying, oh my God, I started keto and I've lost 20 pounds and I feel great, and my psoriasis is gone and my heartburn's gone, but my cholesterol went up, and my doctor freaked out and puts me on a pill. What should I do? So that's what this video is about. Now, if you know anyone who has high cholesterol or who is worried about their cholesterol or who is hesitant to start the ketogenic way of eating because they're afraid it will raise their cholesterol, please share this video with them on their Facebook page or on Instagram, Twitter, or Vero, the new one, right? Have you heard of Vero yet? It's a new social media platform. But share this so I can help these people relax and take a breath and stop worrying about the things that aren't really important to their health and start worrying about the things that really are important. Now let's talk about the ketogenic diet and cholesterol. Is it a big deal? Do we care? Why do we care? Why don't we care? Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, what we're trying to do with the ketogenic diet, or any diet, right? We're trying to improve the quality and length of our life. We want to have a nice, long health span where we're able to live happily and disease-free and enjoy our life, but we also want to have a long lifespan as well. But we don't want to have a long lifespan without a long health span. Does that make sense? And so if you live to 100, but you're in the nursing home after a stroke from the time you're 70 until you're 100, that's not the goal. That's not what we want. We want you to be 100 and healthy and vigorous up until you're 99. And then something happens and you die. And that's how it is. That's life, right? You live, you die. But we want you to have a good, long, healthy lifespan. And so what we're trying to do with the ketogenic diet, and with every single recommendation that Nisha and I give you, is we're trying to decrease your risk of bad things happening. And so when it comes to cholesterol, we all think about heart disease, heart attack, heart failure, stroke. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. What we're really trying to care about when we talk about cholesterol and risk factors like that is, will this increase my risk of having a heart attack, or will it lower my risk of having a heart attack? And that's really the question you should be asking about the ketogenic way of eating. Not will it raise my cholesterol, or will it raise my LDL? Cholesterol and LDL are just what we thought was a marker of your risk of heart disease, right? That's what we use cholesterol for. Cholesterol being high in and of itself is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't make you feel bad. It doesn't make you look bad or smell bad if your cholesterol's high. What we thought there for a few years before we knew better, like we do now, is that having a high cholesterol increased your odds of having a heart attack. That's why we cared about it. That's why medications like the statin drugs and the fib breaks came on the market and made billions upon billions of dollars, is because we thought as doctors, before we knew better, that we were lowering your risk of heart attack. That's why we gave you that pill every day to lower your cholesterol, okay? If in fact, high cholesterol has nothing whatsoever to do with your risk of having a heart attack or a stroke, then of course it's dumb to take that statin, that Lipitor, that Zocor, that Pradicol, any of those things. Why would you want to take them if a high cholesterol really doesn't increase your risk of heart attack? Does that make sense? And so for all these years, we used high cholesterol as a marker, what we thought was a marker for elevated risk of having a heart attack or heart disease. Well, it turns out that the research shows virtually without exception that the amount of saturated fat you eat and the amount of cholesterol you eat has nothing to do with your risk of heart attack, heart disease, heart failure, or stroke. It's a myth. We thought that we knew something, and that's when doctors are really the most dangerous, is when we think we know something, but we really don't know what we think we know. And that's kind of how it was. We were tricked by some early research done on cholesterol and saturated fat, and then of course the big drug companies picked that up and ran with that because they sniffed billions of dollars in the air. And so they of course did what every business does. They tried to make more money. They did a great job at it. And all of our expenses, right? They made the doctors look like buffoons, and they made the patients pay money for a pill that could have induced side effects, either annoying or serious, and really didn't protect it from anything. So all the research, all the big meaningful research shows that the amount of saturated fat you eat, the amount of cholesterol you eat has nothing to do with your risk of heart attack or stroke. It just doesn't, okay? So there's still some vegans and still some doctors who just don't know better yet, who will tell you that, oh, if you eat cholesterol, it'll raise your cholesterol. But a simple Google search and an hour's worth of reading, even by a high school dropout, will quickly realize that's dumb. That's not true at all. And so stop worrying about eating whatever amount of cholesterol you want to eat. Your body actually makes 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every day. Why would your body do that? Well, maybe because every single cell membrane in your body is made partially of cholesterol. If I were able to magically reach through your screen and grab all your cholesterol out of your body right now, you know what would happen? Well, some doctors would have you believe that you would be so much healthier. But in reality, what would happen is that you would die within minutes. Okay, probably under a minute you would be dead if I removed all the cholesterol from your body. Your brain and your nerves are built of cholesterol. All of your major sex hormones and your adrenal hormones use cholesterol as the backbone that they're built on. All of your cell membranes, the cell membrane of every single cell in your body has cholesterol in the membrane. The membrane will not function if you don't have cholesterol. So how does it make any sense that this thing that's absolutely vital for life for the last 100,000 years, now magically, once Lipitor and Zocor on the market, is really bad for you and you should try to lower it and not eat any of it at all? You see the illogic nature of that? There's no common sense in that at all. That's silly, right? Okay. Your body needs cholesterol for hundreds, if not thousands, of biochemical reactions to make your cell membranes, to make your brain, and to make your nerves. It's dumb to act like you don't need cholesterol. It's silly to act like cholesterol is bad for you. Your body has multiple mechanisms to ensure that you have enough cholesterol. Only after we lowered everyone's cholesterol with the statin drugs did we start having an Alzheimer's epidemic. I'm not saying it caused it, I'm saying it sure does look related, don't you think? So there are some poor doctors out there, and some poor dietitians, and some poor nutritionists who are behind on their reading. And they'll scare you. They'll say, oh gosh, this stupid ketogenic diet made your total cholesterol go up by 50 points. I'm going to put you on Stupitor and That's going to reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke. Well, don't be mad at that doctor or dietitian. They just need to do the reading. They're a little behind. They're probably busy with their personal life and they haven't caught up with the reading yet. Give them some time and maybe they'll catch up. So the take-home message is stop worrying about your total cholesterol. It is meaningless, okay? You can really stop worrying about your LDL levels because when you really look at the research, objectively, there's almost no research that shows that your LDL level is meaningfully related to your risk of heart attack and stroke. So if you shouldn't worry about those things, what should you worry about? Well, I'm going to tell you, that's the extra bonus of this video. As I told you what not to worry about, now I'm going to tell you what to worry about, okay? But seriously, if you've got a friend or your dad or mom or your uncle or your cousin or your next door neighbor's been worried to death about their cholesterol, please share this video with them so they can take a breath and relax because it doesn't mean anything bad if your cholesterol is high. It's actually much more dangerous if your cholesterol is low. Okay, now what should you worry about in order to decrease your risk of heart attack, stroke, and other bad things that happen to you later in life? What you want to actually worry about is the real risks, what really raises your odds, what really loads the dice against you for heart attack, stroke, and other serious life-ending chronic diseases. So the one that you can measure without even going to the doctor, without even getting on the internet, is your waist to height ratio. This is a huge risk factor if it's wrong, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to measure your waist around where your belly button is. Now, I know you guys like to wear your belt really low and let your belly hang over that and act like that's your waist. Yeah, that ain't your waist, dude, okay? Your waist is where your belly button is, so measure your waist, that's your belly button, either in inches or in centimeters. Then measure your height, standing up good and straight in either inches or centimeters. And then you're going to divide your waist by your height. And so you're going to divide inches by inches or centimeters by centimeters, and that will give you a number. And if your number is below 0.5, you're in good shape. That's good. But if your number is above 0.5, if it's 0.5 or above, you're at increased risk for a heart attack, for a stroke, for heart failure, for heart disease. That's been proven time and time again. It's actually much more meaningful than your BMI or your body mass index, your waist to height ratio. That's a big deal. And so if your ratio is 0.5 or higher, that doesn't mean just give up and go get a box of donuts. That means, hey, guess what? You can fix that. You can decrease your risk by fixing your waist to height ratio. Now, you can't make yourself taller, probably, so you can figure out what you can probably work on in that ratio. The next thing to worry about is your triglyceride levels. If your triglyceride levels are elevated, your fasting triglycerides, then you're definitely proven to be at increased risk of heart attack. That's been shown in multiple studies. Now, triglycerides are in the lipid panel when you get your lab work checked, and so you would think that eating fat makes your lipids go, or makes your triglycerides go up. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Eating fructose, sugar, starches, simple carbs, that's what makes your triglycerides go up, and that's what you need to avoid to decrease your risk of heart attack and stroke. Also, what you need to decrease your waist circumference, okay? The next thing is a fasting insulin level. If your fasting insulin level is even 1/10 of a point high, you're at increased risk of heart attack and stroke. That's been shown several times. If your hemoglobin A1C is elevated, the hemoglobin A1C gives us a 3-month average of what your blood sugar has been running. If that's even 1/10 of a point elevated, you're at increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Now, the more it is elevated above normal, the more your risk it looks like, okay? Even a lot of doctors will say, oh, your A1C is 5.9. That's pretty good. We'll just watch that. Just, keep doing what you're doing. That's terrible advice. If your A1C is even 1/10 of a point high, you need to get busy and you need to fix that. And you fix that by fixing your diet. Okay? The next one is your inflammatory markers. Inflammation has been shown time and time again to increase your risk of heart attack and stroke. So you want to make sure that your C-reactive protein is normal. You want to make sure your SID rate or your ESR is normal. You want to make sure your ferritin level is normal. You want to make sure all those kinds of markers are normal. And one other lab that you need to make sure is within normal limits is your C-peptide level. It gives you basically the same information as a fasting insulin, but you don't really have to be fasting to check the C-peptide. If it's even 1/10 of a point high, you're at risk of heart attack and stroke, okay? So stop worrying about cholesterol. triglycerides and your C-peptide and your markers of inflammation, because they are the true markers that you are at increased risk of heart attack and stroke. The cholesterol level is meaningless. Stop worrying about it, okay? So, now let me ask you a question before we go. This is important. Who would you like to see me collaborate with? I've been collaborating with a few people on Facebook and on Instagram, and I've got some stuff coming up on YouTube. But I would love to collaborate with other people because I feel like it helps me reach people who haven't heard this message yet. Leave in the comments below the name of the person you'd love to see me collaborate with. That would help me so much because I really want to help more people get healthier, okay? If you haven't, please consider subscribing to this channel. That way, every time I get a bright idea, you'll be one of the very first people to know. Like I said earlier, share this on your social media. There are so many people who are worried to death and afraid to try the ketogenic way of eating because they're afraid it'll raise their damn cholesterol level. Let's educate them so they can stop worrying, okay? And as always, if my messages, my videos really have touched your heart and really have maybe improved your health a little bit, consider subscribing on my Patreon page down below. You can sign up quickly and throw a buck or two my way, and it helps give me and Nisha more time to reach more people and save more lives. This is Dr. Barry, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Dr.
Hey, this is
Barry.
Dr. Barry.
We got it fixed so there was no commercials. So maybe by next week we'll have the closed caption in the right language. So, him talking about all the different labs, etc. This is a book that he put out, Common Sense Labs. That is very interesting. It's, I've gone back through it many times, and I have a lot of my results written here in the book, but, I haven't, Casey also, he's gonna do a little blurb on cholesterols and stuff. And then we'll go on into my actual labs and put those up with my doctor's comment on what my labs read. And my local doctor wanted to put me on statins for the same. So there we get, this. So we'll get onto that after Casey's little video. Any questions on this one?
I just wonder, are we getting any printouts that I can write on now?
You know what? You can bring up each one of these videos. What I should do is maybe put it in the notes as to the actual video name.
Yes.
Or when I tag you for it to be able to play here, I could tag you guys each.
Yes.
Send you an email on it.
Yeah, I wasn't able to show him the ones from last week because I had the names of the doctors, but then I couldn't figure out which video it was.
I put last week on YouTube. So I don't know how good you get to hear the doctors, but I can get you the names of those videos that we played for week 1. So,
And
Oh, yeah.
the other weeks, we want to be able to go back and,
well, we just started last
Thursday.
week, so yeah. And we put that one.
keep them coming.
Okay, and then we have this one, and yeah, I'll make sure that you guys get the actual names of each video. And on each of his videos, when you hit the more down below when you're reading it, it lists all where he's done his research, where he gets his information from, a place to get your labs drawn independently, just lots of good information. So check into his links below the video. So, okay, let's go on to Casey. She works with Dr. Westman. I said, go on, I'm gonna talk. Dr. Westman was one of the other doctors who I met on the cruise, who had gone over my labs with me before. So, okay, sorry, Casey.
And cholesterol. What's the deal? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you might be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life. Let's jump right in. First of all, for those of you who don't know, the ketogenic protocol is one whereby you reduce carbohydrate intake to a level where our livers stop pushing out glucose, and when our bodies don't have the glucose, they happily turn to burning fat or ketone bodies for fuel. It works beautifully. How does one do that? Keep your carbohydrate intake low, 20 grams or fewer a day, total not net. Don't eat if you're not hungry, and stop when you're satiated. One of the first things that come up, people ask, what can I eat? Well, it's fatty sources of protein, non-starchy vegetables, about a cup maximum a day. This is pre-cooked, maximum, not minimum. And about 2 cups a day of leafy greens a day, maximum, not minimum. The rest is some full-fat dairy, not unlimited, but the rest is animal product, fatty sources of protein. Bacon with the fat, pork chops with the fat, poultry with the skin, eggs with the yolks. If you really want a list, you can find a certified, copyrighted copy of Dr. Eric Westman's official page 4. There's the food list, and if it's not on there, don't eat it. So people look at this and say, oh wow, okay, well that's a lot of meat. Well, it's not a lot of meat. You don't have to eat everything on the list, and you don't eat, like the coneheads used to do vast quantities. Because the third thing is, don't eat if you're not hungry, and stop when you're satiated. But it is fatty sources of protein centric. Carbohydrate is not a required macronutrient, so you don't have to have any vegetables if you don't want, and no fruit because that's sugar. Many people will be concerned when looking at this, and actually more people's doctors will be concerned about cholesterol. It's not their fault. They were taught the wrong thing. That's actually exactly what I told my very good and very nice doctor when I went after a few months of having followed this. And she was, I was on board for all the bad stuff from the previous annual, and I was borderline and everything. And she online medical file kit. Casey continues to struggle with her weight, which was factual. Recommend a low-fat diet and more exercise. Well, I've been trying that for a long time. It was very difficult to sustain. So I went the opposite way. I started the low-carb ketogenic diet. And when I went in, I'd lost about 25 pounds. She came in and, this is fantastic. What have you done? I said, thank you. I've done just probably the opposite of everything you told me to do last year. To her credit, she did not get offended. And then she saw that I had a copy of Good Calories, Bad Calories by Gary Taubes. That's not a nutrition manual. It's not a diet book. It is a book about how the very bad science and political influence created the saturated fat leads to high cholesterol, leads to heart disease. And that's just simply wrong. And it's pretty well been shown to be wrong. It's just, like I said, bad science and politics and vested interests. So the doctors were just taught this. The overall one cholesterol number is pretty useless because it's not like somebody goes in there, looks at your blood and counts cholesterol. Cholesterol has many components. There are 2 types of low-density lipoproteins, LDL. 2 types. One's big and fluffy and benign, and one's just and sticky, and a little bit less benign. There's triglyceride, there's HDL. HDL is high-density lipoprotein, beneficial. Triglyceride still has a role to play, but what you don't want to pay attention to the overall cholesterol number, because FYI, every cell in the human body requires cholesterol. Every single cell in the human body. If there was a machine that could zap us of all of our cholesterol out of our bodies, we would fall into a mushy puddle. So anyway, triglyceride is kind of an inflammatory marker. We want some inflammation sometimes. It helps fend off infection. HDL, high-density lipoprotein, is anti-inflammatory. We want that as well, to regulate, right? We want to be regulated. Excuse me. My smartwatch is talking to me. My poor dog Jack just walked in here because he thinks that's usually when they go outside. What you want is a balance of triglyceride and HDL. Ideally, you want those two numbers to be like the same. So if your triglyceride is 72 and HDL is 72, huzzah. If your HDL is higher, even better. A lot of people don't know what those numbers are because the doctor just rattles off an overall cholesterol number, which is not very helpful. So you can ask for that to be broken down. You want to know what your triglycerides and your HDL are. LDL is not so important. So where does that leave us? Sometimes it leaves us with having to ease our doctors into being more comfortable with the fact that that medical degree taught them some incorrect stuff. But even if your doctor says you must take a statin, and sometimes the doctors are mandated to prescribe a statin if your overall cholesterol number is above a certain one. And guess what? That number keeps getting lower and lower. Let's guess, why do we think that is? So your doctor can prescribe you a statin. If my cholesterol number, my triglyceride and my HDL, I think my triglyceride was 56, I think it was either 54 or 56, and my HDL was 98. So I'm golden. But if for some reason that overall cholesterol number was high enough that my doctor said you need a statin, I would say thank you very much. You may note in my file I will not be taking a statin. And then they get credit for having prescribed it. I wouldn't worry about it. Oh, and keep in mind that when you first start the ketogenic protocol, what happens is your body starts mobilizing fat cells for fuel. That's the whole point. There's not just fat in those fat cells. There's all kinds of goodies. There are hormones, there's cholesterol, your triglyceride might actually even go up because it's being mobilized. And then it gets into the blood. That's okay. Over time, if you stick with the protocol, don't blame keto for what the cheat day did. It will just beautifully regulate those components of cholesterol that we want regulated. It'll make the HDL go up and the triglyceride go down. I promise. If you follow the protocol. So, I would say take a chill pill when it comes to cholesterol and the ketogenic protocol. But we don't have to take any pills. That's one of the beautiful things about this. Many people come off their medications. So today's quickie is, don't worry about the cholesterol. If your doctor is worried about the cholesterol, they can prescribe themselves a little sedative so they can sleep at night. But you're going to be okay. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate this, and I will see you the next time with a Go Keto with Casey Quickie. Take care.
Okay, I really like her, she's fun. In the future, I will, when I send the email with the connection or whatever it's called, the link to the videos, I'll send them to you guys too. Then you'll have the same ones we're gonna have to watch before or after, instead of having to keep playing the notes over and over. You want it? Yeah. There is.
Windows computer trying to find a full screen.
That was a picture taken on the cruise. Dr. Westman on the left, he is looking at this magazine where I was featured on the cover. And then Dr. Barry on the right, pointing at me, had just got done looking at my before picture, and he's very outspoken. You've heard him. He said something to the likings of, "Woman, you were fat." But you know what I liked about it was he said, "I were." He used it as a past tense. But the good thing about the three of us up there on stage together was the fact that all three of us were cover girls. They had been featured on Women's World magazine a time or two also. So I like to share that. So it's kind of nice knowing, I know these doctors that I'm referring you to, that there's a little bit of a personal connection here. You're not watching The Stranger on YouTube. You can find the info story. So, Want to put my labs up. And part of me getting so personal with this is so that you guys all understand where I've come from is where any of you or your family members, loved ones could be coming from, and where they could be headed along with us. And this here, what he has up there now, is a copy of my labs, where I said, hello, my current PCP ran the new labs, and the results are as follows. And you see them there. My total cholesterol was 320, which is a panic number in a lot of places. HDL 129.2. My triglycerides were 41. Now remember, in the video, Casey explained that they should be at least 70 equal, but the higher the HDL and the lower the triglycerides, the better.
That's a really high HDL.
Right.
That's amazing.
It is, isn't it?
That is like, wow.
That's like, I can't get mine above 30. That's crazy.
And it has just done nothing but get better as I got off of statin drugs that I had been on, eating the way I had been eating, cleaning up what my body is craving is making such a difference. Well, my doctor here locally, they called me, a young lady from his office, and said, doctor wants to give you a prescription for the statins. And I told him I was politely declining them, that I would not take statins. He had my medical records. He knew I had been on them up until a couple of years ago. But we had also discussed that I was on the keto diet, and he said he would support whatever choices I made, that was as long as I was healthy. So there, the mandate maybe that my local doctor had to, because of a certain number, offer me the statins. I can't help but wonder. But up in the top line there, I had emailed them to my doctor in Florida, the metabolic doctor, and Dr. Saivez returns. In my humble opinion, you should be thrilled with these results. They speak to metabolic health in my language. And this is a doctor who's been carnivore for like 20 years. He's lost over 100 pounds. He runs an obesity clinic. He actually does bariatric surgery to get people started. And so he really, I was glad that he took me on as his patient. So that's just, look at from one extreme to the other. I get with the same lab results. It's scary. So make sure each of you guys do your own research. When you're told, you know, something's really bad. And then the next, my smiley faces, the CDV or CVD risk calculator, and you could find it on, cvdcalculator.com there, and put in your own numbers. And my cholesterol, the total cholesterol, my blood pressure, the systolic number, my age. I'm not a smoker, I'm not a diabetic. My systolic blood pressure was 118. I'm on no blood pressure medications. My total cholesterol was 319 something, so I put in the 3.2. I rounded it up even. My HDL 1.3 then. No history of congestive heart disease at all. And I can now say I have no chronic kidney disease. When I started keto, I was stage 3 kidney failure. It's all in my medical records. And it is marked resolved. Tell me that this doesn't work. So, and then I put in under, I think it was for physical light or something, and you could see there on that record that in the next 10 years, I only have a 3% chance of having a heart attack. So why do I need statin drugs? And then it's 2%, well, I guess it's a 5% altogether, but because of my moderate physical activity, I get 2 green smiley faces. It's kind of like the in-between there. But just cleaning up what my body wants. I had this kind of like da-da moment yesterday, and I realized, because people ask me, you know, well, how do you quit this? I'm going to crave this and whatever. My body seems to be, as it's gotten better, as I've just gotten rid of something at the beginning when I started keto, my body liked that. It got clean to that point. Then it wanted to get rid of the next poison of whatever it was I was putting in. And it has just progressed that way. I have said many times along this progression, oh, I could never do that. I could never give up on whatever. And then I realized, be it a few days, a week, 2 months later, it's like, I don't eat that anymore. Where'd it go? My body just doesn't want it. And so it's really nice to know that it can be done. So, and we really want to just try to help people in doing so. And so, one thing we did have was, last week somebody mentioned eating pistachio nuts for snacks. So it got me thinking, and Ken, I'll have you pass these out if you will. And I put together a carb count sheet for nuts and seeds on how many carbs are really in, and it's a 3.5 ounce serving of each. So it's quite interesting, the total carbs in a 3.5 ounce serving. So yeah, I did listen last week, you know, people talking about that. Terry, thank you though, because it really helps me try to figure out what we want to talk about, because this is your group, it's not just my group. And something else that I've been requested for is, Ken, you want to get these? Is recipes.
Yes.
So I listen a little bit.
That's the ice cream.
And so, well, I didn't do that one in particular, but there is a few different recipes here. They all came from, and I don't know why none of them printed with their name and logo on it, and I will send that out in the email. 2 Crazy Ketos, Joe and Rachel, and all of these I got off of their website. And waffle batter. I made waffles this morning. He'll have to testify to the Instant Pot yogurt. I haven't made it yet. I just had Ken pick up the milk and some yogurt so I could try making it, because there seems to be a lot of good recipes out there that include yogurt. So the carnivore mug bread I've made before, and we both really like it. And the carnivore chicken nuggets, I have not tried. So if you guys try them, post out some results on it and whatever. But we have made other things, you know, with the chicken to make like patties. So that one I'm interested to try. The chicken pizza crust, Darren, you got to try my chicken pizza crust Tuesday when he came over for trying to figure out the right videos for him and all of that. And he liked it. Ken loves it. So,
I mean, I'm not sure what excuse that we need to come over and have.
Last week a group.
okay.
We're Stacy's.
Right.
Okay. You know, and we eat like this And we stay our way. Since October of last year, I have been at the same, playing with the same up and down 10 pounds. And I don't worry about it because some nights my feet are all really swollen or whatever. So I haven't, drank enough water or what. I don't worry about it. So, egg salad. We had egg salad this last week. But I made it with quail eggs instead of chicken eggs. So, you like quail eggs? Oh, my goodness. Ken, why don't you pass around our little freebie gift and a paper? We need everybody to sign up. We're having a drawing for the prize for tonight for coming. We're going to bribe y'all so you keep coming back. Speaking of quail eggs, Ken made pickled quail eggs for everybody. No. Yeah, we've got more. So, but good source of the proteins and fats. So we had, and over our quail love us. And we have 15 quail, usually get 15 eggs a day from them. And I had to try the recipe of cooking them in the Instapot. And 3 minutes, they were done, they peeled, so everybody got them. So, yeah, they might be. So, Ken, you want to pass around the piece of paper, the little white theirs? See if people have something to write with. If you guys will each write out your name, a signature, some identification on a piece of paper. So, because whoever is here tonight gets to go in on the drawing for a special gift from us. So, no, you each can sign. Oh, and you'll share the pen. Okay, 3 cheese dip. We're making for this weekend to use with probably some pork rinds, cheese wisps, whatever. We're having company coming from Cleveland, some of Ken's family.
What are we writing down?
Your name, a marking, something, just so you'll know that's your paper when we pull it out of the pile.
Okay.
'Cause no cheating that away, just fold them up so I can't see. You guys, don't you know how to do this? Darren, get yours in there. Oh, and garlic parmesan wings. I got wings out gone in my, for cooking too. So, all of these recipes I've either tried or I'm trying right here now in the near future. So maybe next week you'll get a review on them. But I want you guys to all try them too. So, let's see, what else do we have here? Did you get them?
They're all right there.
Okay, because now after you guys have read that paper on all the nuts and the seeds and how healthy they are. Okay. Your nutsticks in the bottom. This is just a very important drawing. It's like, hola,
Not me.
Emily! All this important drawings. Yeah, you want to give Emily the prize?
Yep.
Just for attending, like I said, we're bribing people. So, well, the importance of weighing and measuring while you're on keto, while you're starting out especially, it's really important. And after a while, you'll get where I weigh and measure very little. I hate to admit to it, but that's what makes it easy peasy keto. And Stacy Keto, Ken Keto, and each one of you guys are gonna have your own keto specials. So, Darren, announcements for the church, please.
Well, Nathan wants us to announce that this weekend, the next weekend, 7th and 8th, is baptisms and week 1 of growth track. And also he wants to remind everybody to get the new app and do the daily on the app so you can pray for people and read the Living It Out and express or keep track of some gratitudes that you may have. So, and post prayer requests if you have any.
And so that, and then next week, I'm thinking I'll kind of try to do something, collect information about diabetes. And, you know, it might not be happening to us. None of us might have it. We had both been pre-diabetic, but,
Just me.
okay. But we probably know people who have diabetes. And just so that, you know, where to go to, you know, which doctors to look and research, it really helps. So, you guys send questions my way, so I'll get ideas where to go, other topics to think about. One of them I would really like to discuss is cancer. It hits real close to home for us. We both lost our previous spouses to cancer. And since that time, I lost my sister to cancer. And what could have we done if we had known what we know now then?
Right.
But I know God is in control. So, my purpose. That was a hard one, going to growth track, is learning purpose. So, but here I am.
Doing any Q&As?
Mhm.
Any Q&As?
Now, is there any other questions, or just reach out to me, I'm out there, except I'm not on Facebook, I'm still banned, so I irritated somebody, well, I just gotta look at it that way, so,
You moved to 9 o'clock church.
oh.
11 o'clock and now you're at 9 o'clock.
So I don't think that's what it was. Ken, you wanna close us up in prayer?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us gather here tonight, taking the knowledge that maybe we needed to know. And our safe travels here and going home to everybody that's come out. And Lord, through our struggles, please be there with us. You are always, just let us not forget, especially myself. And again, Lord, you're special and always will be. And I always pray to you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I can't believe an hour went by. It's like,
Right?